Hello everybody, my name is Mitch and this is Real Quick Picks. Today we're going over the full card fight predictions for Derrick Lewis versus Cyril Gane, UFC 265. If you're new here, we go over all of the picks first and then we'll talk about the reasons why after. There are new videos every week, so if that's something you're interested in, feel free to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of those. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. We have Raphael, Oedo, Osborne, Jessica Penn, Alonzo, Menefield, Torres, Victoria, Leonardo, Johnny Munoz Jr., Vince Morales, Vicente Luque, Kenney, Jose Aldo, Amanda Nunes, and Derrick Lewis in the main event. Those are my picks. Let's talk about the reasons why. Of course, as always, here are the odds. Feel free to pause all of that good stuff. Raphael versus Bobby Green. For this one, I feel like Fitzev kind of wins everywhere, if you will, standing up on the ground. I do think that Bobby Green could win in conditioning and toughness. I have been impressed in both of those departments, although that will only get you so far. I think Raphael will be able to keep up to him, so it's not like he's going to be swallowed cardio-wise, and I do think he's going to win a decision. Bobby Green is going to show toughness again. I see Raphael winning by decision for this one. Menefield versus Oedo Osborne. I smell Dana White privilege for this one. Now let me explain, starting with Menefield. We have 5'6" and a 68-inch reach. 5'5" rather. That's going to be a disadvantage in both of those departments. He's 0-2 in the UFC. On the other end, we have Oedo Osborne. I believe he has a pretty exciting fight style. He got a round one finish in his last win, so that's always good. I swear, if I'm remembering this correctly, I remember seeing some promo the UFC released with showing how Oedo represents Jamaica and how he just loves his Jamaican heritage before his UFC debut against Brian Kelleher. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong, but I don't think I am. At any rate, I'm smelling some Dana White privilege here. I think the matchmakers know what they're doing. Oedo Osborne with the reach advantage, the height advantage, if you want to consider a height advantage an advantage. At any rate, I think Oedo Osborne may be able to get another flashy knockout with this one. Dana White privilege. Carolina Kowalkiewicz versus Jessica Penn. I have a very weird take on this one. On Carolina's side, from her last fights, she's convinced me that she doesn't really have the dog in her, the fight in her, the will to really go for that win and just try to be victorious in the octagon. Jessica Penn, on the other side, what have you done for me lately? In her last fight against Lupita Godinez, I feel like she showed a lot of heart, a lot of will. She wanted to win. Both of these women are probably past their prime when it comes to age, things of that nature. But I do like Jessica Penn here simply because I believe she wants to win more than Carolina. So I'm going to go with Jessica Penn. Herman versus Alonzo Menefield. Now, full disclaimer, I've never really been a huge fan of Herman. Now, he has impressed me nonetheless. A good win streak here, 3-fight win streak, but at the end of the day, he is 40 years of age, and I can't side with that. On top of it, Alonzo Menefield has looked very impressive to me. He has a win over Paul Craig, which is just aging very nicely at this point. Gets thrown in there with killers, Devin Clark and OSP. He gets a bounce back win against Fabio Cherant, and now he sees Herman. I feel like he's more in his prime than Herman and also more dangerous as well. I'm going with Alonzo Menefield. Torres versus Angela Hill. I feel like Torres' skill level is right under championship level. Let me explain here. If we look, she loses to Weili Zhang, former champ Joanna, former champ Jessica Andrade, former champ Rose Namajunas, Carla Esparza, who's a former champ even. Marina Rodriguez, if you've been paying attention, is clearly a contender. If she were to get her hands on the belt, I don't feel like that would surprise too many people. It'd be cool to see. On the other end, we have Angela Hill. She has looked good lately, and by that I mean against Ashley Yoder. Although Ashley Yoder hasn't looked great in general. With that being said, I do think Torres is right under that championship level. I don't believe Angela Hill is. I see Torres, making her claim for a shot at the world title. I'm going with Torres. Victoria Leonardo versus Melissa Gatto. There's not a lot of information on these two fighters, but with that being said, I'm going with Victoria Leonardo for two reasons. The first reason is because she's wearing this cool Goku outfit. I think choosing this attire clearly shows that you do know how to fight and you know how to win fights. Now, other than that, her experience I think is going to shine through. If you look, she just has so many fights here. especially compared to the other side. We have Melissa Gatto. She's only 25 years old, and she doesn't have that many fights. She's making her UFC debut, and I think she will come up short against Victoria Leonardo in this one. Johnny Munoz Jr. versus Jamie Simmons. I feel like there's not a lot of recent fights to go off of for this one. They both kind of just tried to wrestle down their opponent and failed and lost. Johnny Munoz to Nate Maness and Jamie Simmons to Giga Chookagian. I'm a little worried about Jamie Simmons. I was looking at his history and I see that he fought Giga Chookagian on short notice a month after his, not even a month after his last fight in Caged Aggression against Sean West. I feel like he just kind of got called into action. Something probably got canceled. They needed to push Giga. They gave Jamie Simmons a contract, and I think they're just going to now push him to Johnny Munoz. I just feel a little uneasy about that whole situation. I'm going with Johnny Munoz Jr. with this one. Draco Rodriguez versus Vince Morales. Easiest MMA math of my life. Let me explain. Draco Rodriguez, he loses to Ayman Zahabi. Vince Morales, on the other hand, he beats Ayman Zahabi. He loses around it otherwise, so that does make me a little nervous about this pick, but you can't argue with MMA math, can you? So I'm going with Vince Morales. Vicente Luque versus Michael Chiesa. I would be surprised if Vicente Luque isn't avoided by all of the welterweights. I feel like his fight style is just very gritty and tough to deal with. Now, we have seen the style that can beat him. We see Stephen Thompson and Leon Edwards. I feel like you can compare them in that they have this high-level technical striking that is very hard to deal with. Michael Chiesa does not offer this. He comes in there, tries to take you down, pressure you, choke you out, just be very physical in there. With that being said, I don't think Vicente Luque is going to go down like that, so I'm going with him in this fight. This will be a good one. Yadong Song, or Song Yadong versus Casey Kenney. What a good fight for Yadong Song. He's young and he has heavy hands, and he stands in front of you and honestly offers these crazy wars. On the other end, we have Casey Kenney coming off of a loss to Dominic Cruz. I'm going with Casey Kenney in this one. Really, I feel like the wrestling is going to be a factor. He's gritty and he's going to go for takedown after takedown after takedown. I'm wondering if Song Yadong is going to be able to continuously keep Casey Kenney off, but I don't think it's going to be the case. I think Casey's going to be able to get 2 out of the 3 rounds and win this fight. Jose Aldo versus Pedro Munoz. Now, Pedro Munoz has showed us that he definitely has the ability to knock you out in the first round and get you out of there. He's also shown that he is susceptible to losing some unanimous decisions here. I feel like Jose Aldo is definitely not going to get knocked out and is going to be able to, win with that unanimous decision. I think Jose Aldo is going to keep it standing. I kind of think they're both going to opt to keep it standing. And with that being said, I think that Jose Aldo is going to be very crafty and land a lot of shots that Pedro's not seeing, and it's going to cause problems. Pedro Munoz might surprise me and come in there with the leg kicks and just control everything and really pick Aldo apart, but I don't really see it going that way. I see Jose Aldo winning a decision here. Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena. What is there really to say? Amanda Nunes is one of the GOATs of MMA. I feel like she started to solidify that when she won her second belt against Chris Cyborg. Since then, she's made it look very easy against everyone else as well. I'm not really sure what you can say on Juliana Pena's side in terms of how she's going to win. She's lost to fighters that Amanda Nunes has already beat. If you're a betting person, you won't win much, but it is free money if you want to go ahead and throw Amanda Nunes on your bets. But at any rate, I'm going with Amanda Nunes. I would be absolutely shocked if she doesn't win this fight. Derrick Lewis versus Cyril Gane for the main event, the UFC Interim Heavyweight Championship. Now, for this fight, I gotta say, Cyril Gane beat the hell out of Alexander Volkov, which Derrick Lewis did not. Derrick Lewis was losing most of that fight, and he knocked out Alexander Volkov at the end. Cyril Gane made it look extremely easy. Outpointed him, outclassed him in striking, honestly. It was a great display of his skill sets. But Derrick Lewis, this win against Curtis Blades, it just changed everything for me. I didn't think he stood a chance going in, and sometimes when you're that wrong, you just become a believer. I really think Derrick Lewis is going to get this done somehow. A chunk of me definitely thinks that Cyril Gane's just going to pick Lewis apart, drag it into the deep waters, probably has more cardio, just kind of kick his legs out, kick his belly out, but I think that Derrick Lewis is going to be able to land one of those power hits. The Black Beast is going to shock everyone once again. Don't count him out. The odds are ridiculous here. Derrick Lewis. But anyway, those are my picks. Thank you everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. That's it from me for now. I'll see you guys Saturday. Peace.